Hey y'all, I'm Lynn Howard. Let's talk dialogue tags. If this is your first time here, I'm Lynn Howard. I am a paranormal romance author and creative entrepreneur, meaning I work all the time. I wear lots of hats. I work all day, every day. All right, let's talk dialogue tags. We all know dialogue is uber important in every genre of fiction, period. You have to have dialogue. Yeah, of course you can have long descriptions, but it has to be broken up by dialogue because it becomes boring and too angsty when it's so much inner dialogue and inner monologue. And give us some dialogue to move the story forward. One of my first tips is the word said. Now obviously you can use words like asked or retorted, but try to keep that to a minimum. We don't need exclaimed and expostulated and said. That's it, said. If you want to convey an emotion, or for instance, asked, it's kind of obvious it was asked if there's a question mark. The only time you really need to put Lynn asked is if there's a several person conversation going on. Between two people, we can follow you. We're pretty smart people. If we're reading, we're pretty smart. But if there's just two people, you don't necessarily need to put that over and over and over again. We can get it on our own. My second tip is to use your character's voice. You don't want them to all be in the same voice, but keep in mind, I'm going to use my group of friends, for instance. There are several guys in our little group who are hilarious. There are several females in my group who cuss a lot. They have similar personalities. Generally, people congregate with people who are similar to them. You do not need to put the funny one, the serious one, the sad one. They can have interweaving personalities. Make sure they're not one-dimensional. Just because someone is normally serious doesn't mean they can't crack a joke. Just because someone is normally funny as hell doesn't mean they can't suddenly be serious. And this needs to be conveyed. Their personalities need to be conveyed through their dialogue as well. Again, you don't need to put exclaimed. We're going to know the personality through your dialogue. Now, I said earlier, you need dialogue to push the story. Please don't do the as you're aware when trying to explain something. Maybe put that somewhere else. That's lazy writing. But dialogue should help push the story. Obviously, us as the readers, we don't know what's going on. So we need the narrator, the author, the character, whoever, to tell us what's going on. And a lot of times we see that through dialogue. That's my favorite way. I don't want it just in someone's head. I want the characters to talk about it. I want them to stress over bad guy A coming after the group and how they plan to keep everyone safe. This can be done, the story can be pushed through by dialogue, just not excessively. Now this is a do not write accents. Please do not write accents. Now, obviously books like Outlander, that was a little difficult to read when I first started reading it, but then I got the gist of it. It's almost a different form of writing, but I read a book once and I think the character was supposed to be French and they misspelled words and how you say words were misspelled to tell us there was an accent instead of just telling us she spoke in a lilting French accent. We can get the rest of it in our own head. Maybe even have her say a French word every once in a while. We'll pick it up on our own. Another reason you don't want to write accents with misspelled words and how you say, it's kind of insulting to entire cultures. They don't sound like that. I mean, they do, but how you say, where did that come from? Did someone say that one time and it just became known that if you have an accent, you say how you say? I don't get it. Another tip, use vocabulary people use in whatever time period you're writing. I write modern, I write in 2021, 2020, what have you. We use contractions, we cuss. I cuss a lot. I don't know how I've gotten away with not cussing in these videos, but I've done it so far. We cuss, humans cuss. Now, I've had characters who didn't. They didn't even say crap. They had kind of creative words, mother fluffer, things like that. But your characters should reflect real life. We use contractions. When you write without contractions, things sound very robotic and stilted and boring. I actually had a publisher once want me to take the contractions out of an urban fantasy. What? It was violent too, and they wanted the contractions out. No, that's why I've been with 3, and that was the first one to go. Make sure your character's dialogue is realistic. We use contractions. Now obviously, if it's a period piece, they might have spoken a little differently. They didn't use contractions quite as often as we do now. But again, follow the time that you're writing in and have them speak realistically. Otherwise, people are going to close your book. Another do not. Do not use non-stop narrative after your dialogue. She said, smiling inwardly. He said, scratching his head and wondering why she said that. It slows the story down. Of course, sometimes it is needed, like, oh, but she couldn't figure out why she said that out loud. Use it sparingly. And that's going to roll into the next do not, adverbs. Adverbs are not inherently evil, however, use them sparingly. If every single sentence she said sarcastically, he smiled cheerfully, after a while, it pulls you out of the story. I'm gonna close the book. I can't finish it. It pulls me out of the story so much that I can't follow it. That's all I have for you guys today. I have to make sure I mention Shauna Beck. I promised I'd give a shout out to people who ask questions on my live book reading that I do every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central, over on my Facebook page. And just a reminder, A Shift in Priority is still available for pre-order. It is still being released on September 25th. Everything has been completed. I am still going crazy trying to figure out all the marketing on the book launch side, the traditional book launch side. But if you are interested in maybe joining my ARC team, you can find the link down below for my street team. I'd love to see you over there. Bye!